No, I guess, does anyone have any, I mean, you don't have to come up, you can just speak out loud, or I can give you the mic. If you want to talk about the documentary, is there anything specifically that someone saw that they wanted to address or highlight, or any questions possibly for Alex? Or maybe we want Alex to host this. I think so. I think he's required to say something.
You're like the star of the film.
Actually, I noticed they didn't show much time of you at the conventions themselves. They really cut almost all that out.
Well, this is
not like a final product.
Yeah. So we'll see. Fortunately, they cut everything out of me, hopefully.
Yes.
Is that a ponytail this week?
You got a special treat today because this wasn't the pre-screening that they had at EQLA. This was like the one they did at EQLA was about 80% complete. This one I'd say was about 90% of what they did. They did change a lot of things. A lot of the placeholders were missing this time. Around like before, the animation was basically just an animatic at that point, and now it's full. But as you saw with the maps, they're doing the Equestria style. Before it was just Google Maps, zooming in and whatnot. So they only had the placeholder for North Carolina and California, so that's why you kept seeing California and California. No, it's UK.
They had Maine.
Was
they had Maine too.
the Grand Galloping Gala in Germany?
Yeah.
Yes, that was that.
They sound like they have Dutch accents.
Yes, that was at Galacon in Stuttgart, Germany.
So they must have come from.
There were people from all over Europe.
It sounded very either Dutch or Austrian. Austrian similar to German, but Austrian accents sound different from German accents.
Speak like a German.
No, it sounded very.
I was. I know. Thank you for asking, Tyler. They did do a lot of cutting in here. They had a lot more footage of Bronipalooza that was cut out. Unfortunately, they had they documented the fire, which I'm sad to see that out of it now. And the biggest thing is they jumbled up my story. I don't know if it was clear to you guys, but my events were two different things. Like the shooting and the glass smashing, that was two different things. That wasn't. I guess they just did that to Hollywood me up, or make it more dramatic or whatever. But I'm gonna send them an email, see if they can sort that out, because they did. We did film at two different locations for that.
You want to explain? Did anybody have a question about the fire?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is that?
Were you in the room and witnessed it? Because I was.
I was not at the fire. I was in the vending hall at the point.
Okay.
I haven't heard about this. What happened?
I can explain.
Why is that fire?
All right.
Somebody prayed to the fire gods or something.
There was like a conduit running along the ceiling in there, which is set up like a gymnasium type thing. And I guess it runs for the lights. And all of a sudden, like, large sparks started coming down. Like little tiny fireballs shooting down.
Molten
And
plastic.
because it either melted the plastic around the conduit, or there was like a water pipe next to it. There was something weird. And at first no one knew exactly what was going on. They just kind of moved around, and then finally people figured out it was a fire. And I'm just sitting on the side sorting through the cards I just bought. I did not think it was fire. I thought it was Laser Pony doing something over there. So I
ain't even mad, bro. It's on fire, but I ain't
But
even
then
mad.
after a while, I noticed there was smoke coming up from the floor, and there was something right. I mean, but it was funny because I saw John was in the room, and yeah. So, which is why I was hoping they would use the thing, because in the original cut, which you've probably seen the trailer, it shows John going like this as if he started the fire himself. There was actually a lot of chaos that happened at BronyCon. It was.
Fox News started the fire.
The funny thing of the story, the fire story with me is I was over at the vending hall, and I was with the Plounders at that point, so we were fixing to get gathered around, and we were going to have a MLP lounge lunch together. And the head of security at BronyCon on the staff was part of our group, and we were trying to get her attention that it's lunchtime and we needed to leave and all this stuff, and we're like waving at the window and like waving these big signs, and she's just shaking her head like no, and she's pointing behind us, and we're just like, what is going on? There's like this herd of people moving out there, and it's just like, we're like, what's going on? And we're just like, come on, it's lunchtime, we're just like, eat. And she's just like, no, evacuate the building. People screaming, there's like, oh, there's a fire over there, we need to go. And we're like, oh, okay, we're just like calmly evacuating the building, just like nothing's happening.
Like a foul.
That was my fire story. Nate, you had a question?
Was there a question?
I saw you raise your hand. All right.
I want your autograph because you were in that movie.
I will sign some. My signature's not pretty, but I'll see
But
what I
film
can
me
do.
Jaws with me. That'd be awesome. If I go all over that thing. I had this guy's autograph. He was on the Bernie documentary.
Sign my ticket.
Why don't you say you know him?
What about, dude, don't do it, because what if that stuff goes on eBay, man, you'll be even more famous.
Well, I'm actually kind of worried that this is going to take away from my experience at Brody College. Michael Brockoff is probably going to take me aside and have me, sit at the booth, and I'm probably going to be surrounded by paparazzi the whole thing. I want to go enjoy the con myself, my friends and the Knoxville Bronies. I hope to get a bunch of you guys going around. You guys have to defend them,
We'll hide you. Every time we see paparazzi, we'll just like encircle you and like walk calmly away.
Looking at your posse.
Share. Is there anything possibly about behind the scenes that you'd like to share? I mean, we don't see any of that. In terms of making, was there anything awkward or interesting that happened along the way?
As far as behind the scenes, and I think it played a big factor in the way I behaved around it. I don't know if you noticed that on there this was filmed under DSLR, and that's what they did. They had it set up on my dresser all the way across the room. So I was thinking maybe I'm getting a shot, half my body and my desk and all my ponies around me and all that stuff. So I'm just like casually talking. I saw the preview, and it's right up in my face. If I knew that it was that close, I would have been a lot more nervous. Because it didn't look very intimidating, like a big shoulder mount or anything like that. And he's just the audio guy's just like trying to watch himself on the fan and getting feedback from stuff like that. And I guess the funniest thing is when we were filming at the McDonald's in my town, talking about my windows and stuff, we were getting interviews from my friends who were witness to that, and our audio guys sitting over there trying to adjust all this good stuff. And, something like a film crew in our town is something that draws a lot of attention. And there just happened to be a pretty predominant redneck that rolling through, grab his lunch or whatever there, and he's just sitting revving the crap out of his truck, thinking like, oh, they're going to film me now, or, I'm going to hear myself in this documentary. He probably wouldn't even watch it, not knowing what it is or anything like that. He's just like, our audio guy was getting so pissed. It's just like it's just right in his ear, and he was fixing to go over there and just punch him in the face.
I wish he would.
But eventually, just like waving him on, and can't cut it out. He's just like, yeah, look at my big truck, Screw you, buddy, go away.
We all know that the documentary is going to be on the Blu-ray. Is there any word like when the release date for the Blu-ray is?
February is all I know for the release of Blu-ray physical copies. I know.
Is it going to be off Blu-ray as well?
Yeah, it's already
Not, but on a DVD.
You won't be able to buy a standard definition DVD, just a Blu-ray DVD.
That's what I meant.
Digital downloads available in 4 different formats. You got 1080 and 720 and 480 for your tablets or phones or whatever you get. And you get all 4 of those formats when you purchase it, so you can get.
And then there is hope to feature it on TV at some point.
Yeah, eventually, depending on how this will gross, or I don't understand how the film stuff works, but eventually we'll see this on the shelves at Walmart and Target and other stuff like that. We'll have our own DVD release and
Netflix.
Hopefully.
Netflix, maybe not. I don't know if they're going to go that far or not, but
They have on
we're definitely looking at.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Michael has offered this to PBS and And we see so we can
Boring
get
channel in the world.
all kinds of stuff.
No, PBS does like stuff like conventions now. They did a documentary on Dragon
Yeah,
Con.
they would actually
They have
possibly do
Idea
them.
Channel, which actually talked about bronies.
Yes.
PBS is so not shit anymore.
What they say? Downtown.
They were talking that bronies they were Idea
And there are-
Channel masculinity.
there are
It's about Idea Channel like proposes a question and you're supposed to answer. And
They weren't like making fun.
no, it was just explaining what they were and then saying.
The Ploungers are the group of ponies who are part of the subreddit My Little Pony Lounge, and we call ourselves Ploungers.
I go there once in a while.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
Now,
Idea Channel just
what was
our
like the
bronies changing the idea of masculinity and then explained a lot of stuff and then gave some evidence of why and why not.
The as far as the pre-screening went, yeah, we're coming from a bias because we were all bronies there. So it was, it was a standing ovation. It was everybody was going crazy, much like it was today. But in the Question LA, they were clapping at every scene and just like almost in tears, just because it was just so awesome that the quality of this and that it was done in the first place. I was just kind of sinking in my chair, because I knew at some point during the Q&A, Michael's going to go, okay, so we have a person here in this room that's actually in this documentary, one of our main stories, blah, 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 Alex, and he's going to point back there, and I'm just like, I'm dreading that moment, because everybody's going to turn to me, and then I'm going to get shrouded with hugs and bro-hugs and questions, and people are going to be like climbing over seats. That's the way it was. After, once we released that, I was just, standing there, we were talking about making dinner plans and whatnot with the rest of the crew, and, people just kept going, oh, hey, Alex, that was a good show, and you inspired me to do this, blah, 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 and, it's a shame that you had to take such abuse like that, and, you don't need to be surrounded by hate like that, and I support you, and, if you ever need anything, and that's what being a brony's about right there.
You don't do
Is hearing that stuff, it's just
not
so
just for Alex,
supportive.
it's for everybody.
It's for everyone, I'm not sure. He did show this to a non-brony audience. I haven't got the story on that one yet, but that was just to counteract our bias towards it. But keep your eye out. This isn't going to be the only one. There are 700 hours of footage. So they have enough to stretch out a couple of years for this. We're looking at releasing the individual stories. You'll have Tara's story, John's story, the interview with Lauren, me and Laser Pony and Lyle, and all the separate stories are going to be separate movies and stuff. Like
Even yours.
the interview with Lauren was 8.5 hours long.
Oh wow.
And I would certainly sit there and watch it for 8.5 hours.
Yeah.
But they may boil that down or cut it down. I just hope it's just a straight release. 8.5 hours.
They'll probably cut out the things that most people have heard her say and try to leave it.
Right.
And just because you have 8 hours of footage doesn't mean it's 8 hours of good footage.
Yeah.
Just saying, she probably stuttered a little.
I don't think we need to see that.
Anything with Lauren is good.
Well, I mean, if she stuttered or something, but for every time you say
It's like raw footage.
for every time you say or sneeze or anything like, I'm in video production, for any time you say or sneeze or something, like if you cut out all the ums out of your daily life, you wouldn't be talking as much. So.
Well, I will agree with you that the biggest thing that I got annoyed, the biggest thing that annoyed me with this was
Too much awareness.
breaking my train of thought. I'm starting to think of that now. Man. Thank you.
Let's keep going.
When they would ask me the question and I would give them my answer, I just wasn't used to. I was not used to. I had to give the question back. I had to say, I am a fan of My Little Pony because, not, oh, I like people or whatever. I had to give the question back to them, and then I'd say it, and then they'd say, well, we need to hear the question because I'm not, you're not going to hear my voice in it. I'm like, oh, okay, so I'll say it again, and they'll say, well, you need a little more energy behind it. Say it again. Oh, okay, I'll do it. Well, you didn't address the question again. Oh, what do you want from me? It's like we ended up going over every line over and over and over again. That's just like, I would like to move on to the next question, please. Like, well, we don't. We'll work with it. We'll move on to the next question. And there was a lot of questions like, they had this whole packet of questions that people had submitted for this, just directed at people. And there was a lot of questions that I wanted to answer on there that they didn't ask me, and they kind of filtered out who wanted, who were they going to ask what questions. There was a lot, I can't remember which one it was, but it was the biggest, what was the biggest influence in the show that inspired you to become more sociable about it? And that's something that I would have liked to have been asked, but I didn't.
What's your answer?
My answer for being more sociable about it is the little guy right back there, Jacob, because he.
Can we get that?
I think he gets that.
Come up.
Yes, he needs to come up here.
Get on the stage.
Come on, get up here. Up, 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 up.
This little brat. But I'm more open about it because I was very nervous about showing this to my father and my mother and whatnot. And this little kid right here, he wasn't scared at all. He's we're sitting at the dinner table and he's like, "Oh, Princess Luna's best princess." And I'm just like, "Jacob, shut up." And he's just like, "Oh man, he's just not. He wouldn't call it quits." So I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, we like My Little Pony. We watch it every day. You can turn around and face the crowd. That's just I owe a lot to him because I would have never come out with this. I would have been a closet brony, and I would have missed out on a lot of things because being an open brony is a hell of a lot more fun.
Overall, do you know? I mean, do you know how they determined to choose you?
I think it was just the way that I wrote my story. It just came on. It was according to Michael and Laurent, my story stood out among the others. I guess it was just the way I worded it, it was just something I just threw together. I wasn't, I was just like, oh, this is just worth a shot, because I'm just like, well, I don't know if anybody else has, experienced hate to this level. And I'm just like, well, I just go, we'll just go, we'll shoot in the dark and we'll see what sticks. And I get a call from Nicole Oliver as Princess Celestia. Dear beloved subject, you have been chosen to be part of this document. You need to email, such and such, and thank you for your submission. And I was just like, oh wow, I didn't record this. And it was all over before I did anything. I was just like, oh man, missed it. But it was something else. And then when I met Nicole at BronyCon, I asked her to do that again, and she's just like, oh no, I can't do that. I was just like, oh man. But that was a fun part of BronyCon was because Nicole was actually the first one to read my story. She wanted to know more about me. So it's what she did when she got done signing with her first signing. She hunted me down in the crowd, and she wanted me to take her around and explain everything to her on a more level. And I hadn't thought of it by then, but I actually carried my Princess Celestia towel, that the Walmart ones. I had it in my derby bag because I wanted her to sign that. But I wasn't thinking of that at that time. I was just like, oh man, blah blah. And then this is art, and this is and blah blah. This is going on. I was just dragging her. I was like, oh, check all of this stuff out. She was just thrilled with it, and then by the time she left, I'm just like, oh crap, the towel. That's why I stood in the line again. When she was signing again, I stood in line for 2 hours. And I met this awesome guy named Saris. And we just ended up talking and whatnot. And she just said, she noticed me like 10 or so people back. She says, Alex, you're here for a signing? And I'm like, yeah, I wanted you to sign my time. She's like, get up here. Everybody goes, excuse me, who are you? And she knows your name and she wants you to come up here. And I'm just like, no, I'm sorry, I'll wait, And she's like, okay, suit yourself. And just like signing away. Everybody's just, okay, that's what I thought. That wasn't about to go there. And I got a special message on my towel that says, to my beloved subject, Alex, friendship is magic, love Nicole Oliver. And that's also my treasured thing, and I just like it's. For some reason, I like Nicole a lot better than the other voice actors. I don't know why what stands out about her. I like her a lot more.
Does anybody have any other questions for him?
merchandise as far as like T-shirts or anything like
With his face on it, you mean? Or?
I won.
Well, I
From the documentary?
Yeah, I saw your T-shirt. I don't know if they like are selling T-shirts or anything related to the.
Well, as far as merchandise for the documentary, it's not much. Just for like the shirt I'm wearing now.